The Lakers' locker room after Sunday's win over New Orleans had a different energy than anything I've witnessed in 7 years covering the team. Luka Doncic was holding court in the center, Austin Reeves laughing with the young guys in the corner, and in the back, adjusting an ice wrap on his left leg, sat someone who used to own every room he walked into. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your most trusted source for exclusive updates, insider analysis, and everything you need to know about our beloved Los Angeles Lakers. I'm bringing you information about a seismic shift happening at Crypto.com Arena right now, a transition that's redefining what it means to be a Laker, and a reality that nobody in purple and gold ever imagined we'd have to confront during this era. Before I tell you exactly what's developing, we need to acknowledge something extraordinary that's happened this. The Lakers are 15-4, sitting atop the Western Conference with the kind of dominance we haven't seen consistently in years. We're scoring 118.7 points per game, third best in the league. Our offensive rating of 121.3 ranks second in the entire NBA. We're moving the ball with precision, averaging 27.8 assists per game, and we're defending with an intensity that has opponents shooting just 42% from the field against. These aren't just good numbers. These are championship caliber numbers that suggest this team is built to sustain. But here's what makes this season fundamentally different from any other in recent history. We've achieved this record, this offensive explosion, defensive consistency, without the player who's been synonymous with Lakers' past 7 years being the primary engine driving everything. For the first time in a 2-decade-long career that's redefined great professional basketball, LeBron James is not the main man in this franchise. And the most remarkable thing, the Lakers have been flying high. Let me give you the context that nobody else is discussing with the depth deserved. LeBron has missed 7 games this season due to load management for his left leg, which has been bothering him with sciatica issues that come with being 41 years old and having logged more minutes than any player in NBA history. During those 7 games he sat out, the Lakers went 6-1, 6 wins and 1 loss without the player we've built everything around. That 1 loss came in overtime against the Suns by 3 points. Hardly a collapse. The offense didn't stagnate. The defense didn't fall apart. The young players didn't look lost. Instead, they looked liberated. Luka Doncic has been the catalyst for this trend, and calling it anything less dishonest. When Rob Pelinka pulled off that blockbuster trade in February, sending Anthony Davis to Dallas in exchange for Doncic, the basketball world collectively lost mind. Nobody's coming. The speculation had always been about role draft complementary pieces, but Davis for Doncic, that was franchise-altering at a level we rarely witnessed. Davis was our defensive anchor, second superstar, perfect complement to LeBron's playmaking brilliance. Trading him felt like sacrilege to many Lakers fans who'd watched AD dominate during our championship, but Pelinka saw something that the rest of us didn't fully appreciate in that moment. He saw a 26-year-old MVP candidate entering his absolute prime who could become the face of this franchise for the next decade. He saw someone whose skill set, while different from Davis, could unlock dimensions of our offense that we'd never fully accessed. And most importantly, he saw the opportunity to transition from being LeBron's team to being Luka's team without the painful rebuild that usually accompanies such monumental shift. That vision is being validated every single night. Doncic is averaging 31.4 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 10.2 assists per game this season. He's shooting 48.3% from the field, 9% from three-point range, and he's getting to the free throw line 9.4 times per game because defenders simply cannot contain him without fouling. His usage rate of 34.7% is the highest on the team, meaning the ball is in his hands during the most critical possession, and he's converting those possessions at an elite level. His player efficiency rating of 28.6 ranks 4th in the entire NBA. This isn't just a good player having a nice season. This is a transcendent superstar performing at an MVP level while seamlessly integrating into Lakers culture. The synergy between Doncic and Austin Reeves has been the season's most pleasant pride, and I need to emphasize critical Reeves' development has to making this transition work. Reeves is averaging career highs across the board: 19.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, 6.7 assists, and 1.3 per game. He's shooting 47.1% from the field and 41.2% from three, numbers that establish him as one of the most efficient secondary scorers in basketball. But beyond the statistics, Reeves has developed this incredible chemistry, Doncic, where they're reading each other's movements before they happen, finding each other for easy buckets in transition, and creating advantages through their two-man game that opposing defenses can cannot counter. When you watch Doncic and Reeves operate together, you see something that honestly didn't exist as naturally. LeBron as the primary ball handler. LeBron's game has always been about total control, about having the ball in his hands during crucial moments, about making the final decision on nearly every possession. That's worked brilliantly for 2 decades and won him 4 champions. But Doncic's game is more collaborative despite his high usage. He's constantly probing, constantly manipulating defenses, but he's also creating windows for Reeves to operate as a secondary playmaker in ways that maximize both players' strengths. The offense flows differently, moves different, breathes different. And this is where we arrive at the uncomfortable truth that's being discussed in hushed tones around the league and inside Lakers circle. LeBron James, at 41 years old, with his sciatica issues requiring regular load management, with his role diminishing from franchise cornerstone to complimentary veteran, is facing a reality he's never encountered before. He's not the guy anymore. Despite still being capable of averaging over 20 points per game when healthy, despite his basketball IQ remaining unparalleled, despite his leadership and experience being valuable, he's no longer the player this franchise is being built around. Stephen A. Smith addressed the situation recently with typical bluntness, and while Stephen A. and LeBron have had their disagreements over the years, his analysis here was spot on. Smith acknowledged that LeBron, even at 41 with sciatica, can still come back and average above 20 points per game. The skill is still there. The basketball brilliance still evident. But Smith also said something that I know Lakers management is thinking, even if they'd never say it publicly. If the Lakers had a choice, they would trade him, not because his game has completely fallen off, not because he can't contribute, but because of his age, and because Luka Doncic is the future. Smith put it perfectly when he said, Luka's 26, and you want some young cats, not someone who's 41 and on his way out in the next year or two. That's what it's about. It's not because of LeBron's game, but because of his age. That statement crystallizes the organizational dilemma better than anything else. The Lakers are trying to maximize a championship window with a 26-year-old superstar who could be elite for the next 8 to 10 years. Having a 41-year-old legend taking minutes, possessions, and salary, no matter how great that legend is, doesn't align with that long-term vision. Let's discuss the financial reality because this matters enormously when evaluating potential moves. LeBron's current contract pays him approximately $48.7 million a season, making him one of the highest-paid players in the league. That's a massive cap hit for a player who's no longer the franchise centerpiece, especially when you consider that money could be reallocated toward younger pieces who fit Luka's timeline better. The Lakers are already operating near the luxury tax threshold, and adding pieces around Doncic to maximize his prime years requires financial flexibility that LeBron's contract limits significantly. If the Lakers were to move LeBron, either through trade or mutual agreement to buy out, sign elsewhere, they'd open up enormous financial flexibility. They could target another star through free agency or trade who's closer to Doncic's age. They could extend Austin Reeves with the mass contract he's earned through his breakout season. They could add depth pieces to address specific needs like perimeter defense, three-point shooting. The strategic benefit of moving on from LeBron isn't about what he can't do anymore. It's about the opportunity cost of what the Lakers could do without his contract constraining their options. The trade market for LeBron, if the Lakers made him available, would be fascinating to evaluate. Several teams would absolutely be interested despite his age, because what LeBron brings transcends traditional basketball metrics. He's still LeBron James. His name alone sells tickets, generates media coverage, and attracts other stars who want to play with a teams like Cleveland, who'd love a nostalgic return tour. Teams like Phoenix, who could use his playmaking alongside Devin Booker. Teams like Miami, where he'd reunite with Eric Spoelstra, Heat culture. The return wouldn't be premium draft picks, obviously, but the Lakers could absolutely extract value in the form of young players or expiring contracts that provide future flex. But here's where the situation gets emotional, and this is something Lakers Nation needs to grapple with serious. LeBron James brought us a championship in 2020. He chose Los Angeles when he could have gone anywhere. He's brought credibility, stardom, and winning basketball to a franchise floundering after Kobe's retirement. The respect and gratitude we owe him is immeasurable. Trading him, especially when he's still capable of contributing, feels like a betrayal of everything he's done for this organization. It feels wrong on a human level. even if it makes sense on a strategic level. This is the impossible tension that championship organizations navigate. Loyalty versus winning, sentiment versus strategy, honoring the past versus building the greatest franchises in sports history. Patriots, Spurs, the Warriors have all faced these moments and made the ruthless decisions that prioritized winning over comfort. The Patriots moved on from Tom Brady. The Spurs declined to overpay for aging stars, even though they deserved it. The Warriors are currently managing this with older veterans as they develop their next core. The Lakers are facing their version of this test right now with LeBron. Let me be absolutely clear about my personal perspective on this entire situation. LeBron James is the second greatest player in Lakers history behind only Kobe Bryant, and you could argue he's more accomplished given his overall career arc. What he's done for this franchise deserves eternal gratitude, but I'm also a Lakers fan who wants sustained championship contention, and I have to be honest, serves that goal best. If keeping LeBron limits our ability to build the optimal roster around Luka Doncic's prime years, if his salary and role create constraints that prevent us from maximizing our 26-year-old MVP candidate, then exploring alternatives, no matter how painful, is the responsible organizational approach. The ideal scenario that I genuinely hope unfolds goes something like this. LeBron recognizes that his role has changed. Luka is the face of this franchise, and he embraces being the ultimate veteran mentor, provides leadership, experience, occasional brilliance, while accepting reduced minutes and a smaller. He finishes his career in purple and gold, retires as a Laker, celebrate his legacy properly. Meanwhile, the Lakers continue developing their young core around Doncic. Smart move, add complements prime, and we compete champion for the next 5 to 7 years, with LeBron contributing whatever he can during his final season. That scenario requires ego suppression, role acceptance, and sacrifice from LeBron that would be completely understandable if he's unwilling to give. He's LeBron James. He's been the alpha for 20 years. Asking him to become a supporting player on someone else's team, even if that someone else is Luka Doncic, is asking him to do something no player at his level has ever really done successfully. The competitive fire that makes you LeBron James, same fire that makes it nearly impossible to accept a diminished role. Grace, I get that. The alternative scenario, the one that's being whispered about but not discussed openly, is that LeBron and the Lakers come to a mutual understanding that it's time for separate. The organization could frame it respectfully, acknowledging everything he's done while being honest that they're building around Luka. LeBron could choose a destination that gives him a chance to compete as the main guy for 1 or 2 more years, maybe returning to Cleveland, a farewell tour, maybe joining a contender that needs his specific skill set. It would be sad, it would be emotional, but it might be the cleanest resolution for everyone involved. Here's what we know for certain as this situation continues developing. The Lakers are 15-4 and winning at a level that validates the Doncic trade. Luka is establishing himself as a franchise player we hoped to be when we acquired him. Austin Reeves is having a breakout season that makes him one of the league's most valuable. The young players are developing nice offense elite. The defense has improved. Everything is pointing towards sustained success. This core. LeBron's role in that success is diminishing naturally through age and injury, and at some point, the organization will face a decision about whether his presence enhances or limits their champion moving forward. I'll tell you what I'm watching I'm watching LeBron's body language during games where he's not. Is he engaged on the bench? Is he mentoring the young guys? Or is there visible frustration about his diminished role? I'm watching how the offense forms in game plays significant minutes versus games where Luka has total control. Do we look better with LeBron on the floor or with him resting? I'm watching the front office trade. Do they add pieces fit LeBron's timeline, or do they target younger players who align with Luka's prime? Those decisions will tell us everything we need to know about the organization long-term for LeBron. Lakers Nation, this is genuinely one of the most complex situations our franchise has ever faced, and I need your honest perspectives on all of them. Do you want LeBron to finish his career as a Laker regardless of his role, or do you think it's time for both sides to move on while he still has value? Should the Lakers prioritize loyalty to LeBron for everything he's done, or should they prioritize building the best possible roster around Luka Doncic? If LeBron is traded, where would you want to see him go? Would you support a move to Cleveland for a farewell tour, or would that be too painful? How many more seasons do you realistically see LeBron playing at a level that just can't? Drop your detailed thought comments below, because this is a conversation that's finding French direct. If this analysis gave you perspectives you're not hearing anywhere else, you want to stay ahead of every Lakers roster decision and strategic move. Subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report immediately. Hit that like button, turn on those notifications so you never miss our exclusive coverage, and share this video with every Lakers fan who needs to understand the monumental transition happening right now. This is where serious Lakers fans get serious basketball analysis. This is where we tackle the impossible questions that shape franchises for decades. Let's go Lakers, and I'll see you in the next video with more exclusive coverage you won't find anywhere else.